A cartoon is not supposed to keep catching up with reality. Yet for more than 3 decades, The Simpsons has done exactly that. What once looked like harmless comedy has repeatedly echoed real-world events, technological advances, and cultural shifts years after the episodes first aired. Some of those moments were lucky guesses. Others came from writers who simply understood where society was heading. Either way, the pattern is impossible to ignore. Now, with 2027 approaching, many of those old jokes feel less like comedy and more like quiet warnings about the future. This video explores 20 Simpsons predictions and themes that continue to spark discussion. Not because the show can see the future, but because it has always paid close attention to the present. Sometimes the biggest clues about tomorrow are hidden inside a cartoon that most people assumed was only trying to make them laugh. One memorable Simpsons joke imagined a machine turning a perfectly normal message into complete nonsense. At the time, it felt like exaggerated comedy, but modern smartphones made that idea surprisingly familiar. Today, autocorrect, predictive text, and AI-powered keyboards constantly adjust our writing before we even notice. They fix spelling mistakes, complete sentences, and even suggest entire replies. While these tools save time, they also create new problems by changing meanings or introducing embarrassing errors with a single incorrect prediction. As artificial intelligence becomes more advanced, these systems will likely become even more involved in everyday communication. By 2027, your keyboard may understand context, emotions, and personal writing habits better than ever before. The convenience will be impressive, but so will the risks. When software begins deciding not only what you type but how you sound, the line between your own voice and artificial assistance becomes much harder to recognize. Long before smartwatches appeared in stores, The Simpsons imagined people communicating through devices attached to their wrists. At first, it looked like another over-the-top futuristic joke, but reality slowly caught up. Today, millions of people wear smartwatches capable of making phone calls, reading messages, monitoring heart rates, tracking sleep, and guiding them through daily routines without touching a smartphone. What once belonged in science fiction is now a normal part of everyday life. By 2027, wearable technology could become even more powerful, acting as a constant digital assistant that quietly manages appointments, health information, navigation, and communication throughout the day. Future devices may rely more heavily on artificial intelligence, making decisions before users even ask. The Simpsons turned a playful idea into something surprisingly familiar, proving once again that yesterday's impossible gadget can quickly become tomorrow's everyday necessity. One of the show's most talked-about celebrity moments featured Lady Gaga soaring high above a cheering crowd during an extravagant performance. It looked exactly like the kind of outrageous spectacle only a cartoon could imagine. Years later, however, Lady Gaga opened the Super Bowl halftime show by dramatically descending from the stadium roof, creating a performance that immediately reminded viewers of the old Simpsons episode. While the two events were not identical, the visual similarities were enough to reignite conversations about the show's uncanny predictions. More importantly, the moment reflected how modern entertainment constantly pushes the limits of technology, stage design, and live performance. Audiences now expect larger productions filled with drones, aerial stunts, advanced lighting, and digital effects. By 2027, concerts may become even more immersive, blending physical performances with virtual experiences that make today's biggest shows seem surprisingly ordinary. Few people expected a joke about Olympic curling to become one of the show's most famous real-life coincidences. In one episode, The Simpsons showed the United States defeating Sweden to win Olympic curling gold. Years later, that exact result happened during the Winter Olympics, leaving viewers amazed by the unexpected similarity. Unlike scripted dramas, sports are almost impossible to predict, because every competition depends on countless unpredictable moments. That is precisely why this example attracted so much attention online. It demonstrated that even a light-hearted joke involving a relatively small sport could eventually resemble reality in remarkable detail. Whether it was coincidence or simply extraordinary luck, the episode strengthened the show's reputation for producing moments that later appear strangely familiar. It also reminded audiences that sometimes history unfolds in ways no one, including cartoon writers, could ever confidently predict. Yet somehow they occasionally come remarkably close. One classroom scene in The Simpsons featured a casual joke about future Nobel Prize winners. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than clever background humor. Years later, however, one of the names mentioned in the episode actually went on to receive a Nobel Prize, sending fans back to revisit the old clip. It wasn't evidence of supernatural prediction, it was evidence of intelligent writing. The show's creators often based their jokes on respected scientists, economists, and public figures who were already making significant contributions in their fields. Instead of guessing randomly, they paid attention to people with genuine potential. That approach allowed some fictional moments to age remarkably well. As science and technology continue advancing toward 2027, thoughtful observation may remain just as valuable as prediction itself. Sometimes recognizing today's brightest minds is enough to make tomorrow's headlines seem surprisingly familiar. One of the most discussed scientific moments in The Simpsons involves a mathematical equation written beside Homer Simpson. Years after the episode aired, viewers noticed that the formula appeared surprisingly close to calculations related to the Higgs boson, the particle famously confirmed by CERN in 2012. Nobody believes Homer secretly solved particle physics, but the coincidence highlighted something important about the show's writing. The Simpsons has often blended real science with comedy, consulting educated writers capable of hiding genuine mathematical references inside seemingly ordinary scenes. That mixture of humor and scientific curiosity continues to fascinate audiences today. It also demonstrates that entertainment can spark interest in complex ideas without becoming a lecture. As scientific discoveries continue accelerating toward 2027, moments like this remind viewers that knowledge and comedy are not opposites. They can work together to make difficult subjects surprisingly memorable. Years before Disney officially purchased major Fox Entertainment assets, The Simpsons featured a background sign suggesting that Fox belonged to Disney. At the time, it looked like a playful joke aimed at the entertainment industry. Then reality caught up. In 2019, Disney completed its massive acquisition of 21st Century Fox's film and television assets, turning what had been a throwaway gag into one of the show's most famous business predictions. The episode became another example of how the writers often recognized long-term industry trends before the public did. Media companies continue merging to compete with streaming services, global audiences, and changing viewing habits. By 2027, even larger partnerships and acquisitions may reshape the entertainment landscape once again. The Simpsons didn't predict the future through magic. It simply understood that big corporations rarely stop growing when opportunity appears. Aliens have appeared throughout The Simpsons for decades, usually as a source of comedy rather than serious science fiction. Characters like Kang and Kodos mocked humanity's fears, political confusion, and fascination with life beyond Earth. Yet in recent years, the conversation surrounding unidentified aerial phenomena has changed dramatically. Governments have released reports, military pilots have described unusual sightings, and official investigations have become part of mainstream news. None of this proves extraterrestrial visitors exist, but it does show that unexplained events are now discussed far more openly than they once were. The show's playful treatment of mysterious objects in the sky now feels unexpectedly relevant. By 2027, public pressure for greater transparency may continue to grow, encouraging governments and researchers to release more information while separating verified evidence from speculation, rumors, and internet myths. The Simpsons often joked about houses that responded automatically to their owners, making decisions without being asked. Years ago, that idea seemed wildly futuristic. Today, smart homes already control lighting, heating, security cameras, locks, speakers, and household appliances through connected devices. Artificial intelligence is gradually making these systems more independent by learning routines instead of simply following commands. By 2027, many homes may anticipate daily habits, adjust energy usage automatically, monitor security continuously, and even remind occupants about appointments, groceries, or maintenance without human input. These conveniences promise greater comfort and efficiency, but they also raise important questions about privacy and digital dependence. As homes become increasingly intelligent, the biggest challenge may not be building smarter technology. It may be deciding how much control people are willing to hand over to machines quietly managing everyday life behind the scenes.